You ever have one of those days you've got a massive deadline, a huge project just staring you in the face, but suddenly you find yourself completely obsessed with organizing your spice rack alphabetically? Yeah, you're not alone. What we're going to talk about today is the secret science behind why your brain does that, why we choose the easy way out instead of the hard-earned win. This is the story of dopamine, procrastination, and most importantly, how you can take back control. So let me tell you a story. Picture this young man really struggling with depression. For him, the world just felt heavy. Every single thing he had to do, from getting out of bed to thinking about a job application, felt like climbing Mount Everest. He was desperate for an escape, any escape. And he found it, right there in the glowing screen of his video games. See, every time he beat a level, every time he conquered an enemy, he got this jolt, this feeling of actual success. But, and you know there's a but, it never lasted. And while he was winning all these battles on the screen, he was losing the war against the real life stuff that was just piling up all around him. Now, his story isn't just his story. It's our story. It's what I like to call the Great Escape. It's this powerful retreat that's fueled by a tiny but incredibly powerful chemical in our brains called dopamine. And it leads to a habit we all know and maybe don't love: procrastination. And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Why? Why does that quick, temporary escape feel so much better in the moment than the deep, lasting satisfaction you get from a real achievement? Well, the answer is all about a hidden battle that's happening inside your own mind. So let's pull back the curtain and meet the real villain of this story. And I'll give you a spoiler: it's not you. It's not because you're lazy, and it's not a lack of willpower. It's actually a feature, a biological trap built into your brain's reward system. Welcome, everyone, to the dopamine trap. Okay, so let's meet dopamine. You know, scientists call it a neurotransmitter, but I think it's way easier to think of it as the motivation molecule. Its entire job is to make you want to do things. When you do something that feels good, your brain gives you a little hit of it, basically saying, hey, that was awesome. Let's definitely do that again. Now, here is where it gets super interesting, because this is how dopamine gets hijacked. Your brain is constantly looking at two options. On one side, you've got the instant reward. You know, scrolling your phone, playing a game. It's fast, it's easy, and you get that dopamine hit right away. But on the other side, you have the delayed reward, actually finishing that hard project. It takes time, it takes real effort, and the reward is way, way down the line. Which one do you think your brain is naturally wired to pick? Yep, you guessed it. Your brain is an absolute genius at being lazy. And I mean that as a compliment. For thousands and thousands of years, saving energy was the key to staying alive. So our brains evolved to be super efficient, always looking for the easiest, quickest path to a reward. That instant buzz from a distraction, that's just the path of least resistance. And this creates a really nasty cycle. Let's go back to our gamer. So, step 1, he looks at his resume, a really tough task. Step 2, his brain floods with cortisol, the stress hormone. It feels terrible. So, step 3, to make that bad feeling go away, he fires up the video game. Step 4, sweet relief. A quick win, a little hit of dopamine. Feels good. But, and this is the most important part, step 5, the resume is still sitting there. And now it feels even bigger, even more stressful, because he's just trained his brain that the way to feel better is to run away. This right here is the absolute core of the trap. Over time, your brain literally rewires itself. It forges this super strong connection between avoiding work and feeling comfort, and an equally strong one between facing your work and feeling stressed out. You see? You're not lazy. You're just caught in a powerful biological loop. Okay? But this is not a life sentence. You are the hero of this story, not the victim. You absolutely have the power to break this cycle, to reprogram your own brain. It is time to fight back, so let's get into the cycle-breaking plan. So the billion-dollar question is, how do we actually do it? How do you convince this ancient efficiency-obsessed brain of yours to choose the harder path that leads to a better reward? Well, it's not about using brute force. It's about being smarter than your own brain. Here it is. This is your toolkit. These 4 strategies are specifically designed to work with your brain's chemistry, not against it. We're going to flip the script and turn that dopamine system from your worst enemy into your #1 ally. Let's start with maybe the most powerful tool of all, the 2-minute rule. Forget about trying to write the entire report. Just open the document and write one sentence. Don't clean the whole house. Just put one single dish away. When you complete a tiny piece of a difficult task, you get a small but earned dopamine hit. And that is how you start teaching your brain that effort, not running away, is what leads to a real reward. Next up, reward the effort itself. Don't wait until the entire project is finished to feel good. Break it down into smaller pieces. You wrote one paragraph? Awesome. Let yourself get up and stretch for 5 minutes. You're basically creating a little trail of dopamine breadcrumbs for your brain to follow, leading it through the task instead of away from it. And remember this, not all dopamine is created equal. Your brain can get its fix from much healthier places. As you can see here, things like exercise or a good meal give you a sustainable, healthy dopamine release that actually raises your whole motivation level. A quick distraction, though, that's dopamine junk food. You get a fast spike and then a crash that leaves you feeling even worse.
So here's the real takeaway. Putting these strategies to work isn't just about getting more stuff done. It's about achieving a victory over the toughest opponent you will ever face, your own brain's old habits.
I want you to really let this sink in. If you only remember one thing from our time together, please let it be this. Procrastination does not mean you are a bad person. It doesn't mean you're lazy or undisciplined. It means you are a human being with a human brain that has fallen into a very common, very real biological trap. So let go of the guilt. It's not helping you win.
Your real goal, your true mission, is this: to consciously reprogram your own mind, to teach it one tiny win at a time, to stop chasing the cheap thrill of escape, and start craving the deep, meaningful satisfaction that only comes from doing hard things, the satisfaction that comes from growth.
So, I'm going to leave you with a real question. Think about that young man from the start of our story. What if his first step wasn't finishing his resume, but just opening the file for 2 minutes? So now look at your own to-do list. What is the first tiny 2-minute piece of that task that you are going to defeat today? And that's it for today's explainer. Just by understanding the science of the dopamine trap, you've already taken the most important step. Now go take the second one. And hey, if you want to keep getting smarter about how your own mind works, make sure you subscribe. We'll see you next time.